Shalom Yisrael. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and tells us truth, and salutations to Allah Akim, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity with charity. I'm the brother Rapaya from the Great Millstone camp here in Chicago, and Lord willing, it's an edifying lesson. If a man can keep me alive in an apocalypse, I don't want him. This is a land backing off Elder Malcolm's lesson. All right, this is a Taylor, MMA, jiu-jitsu fighter. You see, this is her statement. This is what she said here. All right, because we're in Jacob's trouble, and things are going to get worse. All right, and a man is going to be more precious than the golden wedge of Ophir. All right. Women are going to need an Israelite man, a chosen, elect Israelite man to be delivered, to be saved in these last days, man, these last moments. You see, this is the only way, okay? There's no other way because, the Lord himself, all right, is going to protect his elect. All right, think of the time of Egypt, how the Lord delivered all Israel. All right, he sent all the plagues. He even unalived the firstborn son, in Pharaoh's nation, even Pharaoh's son. All right, but all Israel was delivered that time. This time is going to be only the elect, those that turn back to the Lord. You see, and it's going to be known who the Lord's chosen are in these last days, and these women are going to cleave onto one of the elect men. All right, multiple women. All right. Multiple women. It says, in that day, 7 women. 7 we know is completion. So it could be hundreds of women, thousands of women. All right. Per elect men. The Lord has our measure. All right. But nonetheless, we stay focused to what? To this work, to this ministry, the mission that we're on, man. We're trying to endure to the end to be saved, to make it. But this is part of prophecy that we must speak upon. All right. Because 1/3. That Revelation, I think chapter 7, verse 9, that multitude, that includes a lot of women, children, men, and Israelite foreigners. 1/3 specifically here in America are going to be pulled through the fire, are going to be saved and delivered. All right. Because things are ramping up, the dollar's crashing. It will be replaced by a digital currency. All right, another crisis is on the horizon. They're not going to let that go to waste, right? And World War III is brewing up, and all these other nations are gearing up, right, to come against the horror, against America, Babylon the Great, right? And those imposters in our land, you see? But this is 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. All right, the troublesome times, man, evil times. All right, like a woman giving birth, it's gonna increase the birth pangs, until what? The child is delivered, until the Yahweh Shai is returned. Until Yahweh Shai comes back and saves us. All right, things are gonna go, crazier like never before, man. A time like no other. You see, this is Matthew 24:21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. All right, a time like no other. All right, greater, than any other time in history, man. Jim Crow, the transatlantic slave trade. All right, all our captivities. All right, even combined, compare nothing to what's coming here. All right, it says that in Esdras, it says they'll be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. All right, specifically coming from you for you tribes, man. Remember, it's Jacob's trouble. So you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, you are the number one target. And the speckled bird, because you can't hide from judgment. All right, the Lord's the one that's sending the judgment. And He's preserving His elect. You see. This is Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right? A remnant is going to be saved. You see? The Lord's going to keep us from that hour of temptation. All right? This next crisis is going to scare the masses, in so much that they're going to line up for the solution, which is a MOTB, the mark of the beast, a microchip that they want to implant in your hand or your forehead, you see? But the Lord is going to keep us from that hour of temptation. Yahweh and Yahushai, man. All right? It is set up for us to feed us without a microchip. All right? The Lord's servants are going to eat, drink, and rejoice, and in abundance. All right? And we're going to have enough milk for our maidens, right? This is all in the scriptures, you see? So no, this tribulation must come. This place must be overturned for us to enter into the kingdom. This is our portion, but guess what? The Lord is with us every step of the way. Yahweh said, I'm with you even all the way onto the end of this age, the end of this world, man. So fear not, Jacob. This is Isaiah 3:25. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. Because, a draft is coming. All right, where it's going to be men and women sent to this third world's war. Right? The third woe. And her gates, this is verse 26, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. The women, all right, they're going to lose their husbands. You see? They're not going to have any succor, any aid, any help, any refuge. All right? The only one that's going to have that is the men of the Lord. All right? Because, who's dwelling in the secret place of the Most High, man? It's his prophets, his elect, you see? That's why these women are going to be terrorized, all right, by seeing famine, experiencing famine and death all around them, the sword, pestilence, all right, tribulation, a flood coming in. They're going to run to a man of the Lord. It's going to be known, it's going to be evident that who the Lord's chosen are, man, because we're going to be preserved. The Lord's going to pass over us and put judgment upon our enemies, even 2/3. There's Isaiah 4:1. In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And, the only way to take our name is to become our wives, to lay down with these women, pop them and become one flesh. And then they will become our wives and have our names, you see, and be covered. Now their shame will be blotted out, all right? Because, our covering is Yahushai, you see? This is Jeremiah 16:3, going into how bad it's going to be. It's going to be really bad, all right? A time like no other, man, all right? This is Jeremiah 16:3. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begot them in this land, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. You see? So we're coming to a point where there's going to be dead bodies everywhere in the streets, and these people are not going to be buried. All right, there's not going to be time for that, man. It's going to be so much death and chaos and destruction going on. All right, no 911, no internet, no phone service. All right, people are going to be losing it out here. You see how bad it is now in a green tree. Imagine when it's dry. Okay, that's the times that we're coming into right now, man. A time like no other. You see? But this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. Verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. You see? Because now, you have to understand, right, in the timeline, you see? Because right now, we're fishing for the elect, but this is wrapping up. Once the men of the Lord are not on the highways and byways, once we're not online on YouTube, all right, social media teaching this word, all right, that means that the elect are sealed, and now it's just judgment coming out, you know? And that's why we're compelling our people to repent, because this is literally right around the corner, man. This is wrapping up quickly, all right? It's going to be unlawful for us to be on the highways and byways to teach this word or bring out this truth, you know? Then it's just going to be a time of judgment. And then you guys will be seeking the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding, right? The names of the Lord, to have the Thawa, you know, but it's going to be too late. Only the elect are going to have the Thawa, you see? Only the elect are going to be exempt from judgment, you know? Ezekiel 9 and 4, you know? Ezekiel chapter 9 going down, you know, start at 1. But, you know, hey, verse 4, man, we're going to be exempt from judgment, man. We're patiently waiting on the Lord, trusting in the Lord, you know, calling upon his name, you see? But these other people are through, man. They have no hope, right? They have no understanding, and they're not going to be stable in these times to come. Isaiah 32 and 2, and a man shall be in hiding place from the wind, as in hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. All right, so we're that place of refuge, okay? Remember, the Lord, he fed Elijah with the ravens. He fed Daniel in the lion's den, right? The Lord did all these things, man. He protected the 3 holy children in the fire. You see? And everything aforetime was written for us, man, for our learning, to comfort us in these last moments. This is the end of the Gentiles, man. This is the climax of the story here, all right? Where the Lord has taken the basis of all men, Esau, Edom, and exalted him on top and gave him rulership of the whole world, you know? And when the Lord brings down Esau and takes his kingdom down, the Lord's name is going to be magnified, you see? And this salvation is going to be greater than the time of Egypt, man. You know? But for you women that are proud, all right, and independent, hey, you're going to be in trouble, man. It says the harlots and the publicans, you know, enter into heaven before you. You know? A lot of you Christian Baptist women that think that you know God, all right, and God knows my heart, you know what I'm saying, and go to these churches every week. Hey, you are not going to make it, man. Unless you humble down and repent, you are not going to make it. All right? The Lord hates the pride. And so do men. Men hate pride, you know? And that's why the Lord's going to humble you women, you know? 2/3 of you are not going to make it, but 1/3 of you, the Lord's going to save and deliver, man. You see? And that's the times that we're coming into. That no matter how bad you are in martial arts, MMA, you know, whatever it is that you do, hey, if the Lord is not on your side, you are not going to make it, man or woman. All right, you can have all the guns, the missiles, the army. None of that matters, you see? Because, the horse is prepared for the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, Proverbs 21:31. You know? You got to remember Wisdom of Solomon, a beck. The Lord could just do a beck, which is a head nod, and destroy all those that come against us, even the world, man. All right? He could just nod his head and kapoof, this will be all done. That's the power that's on our side. You see, the God of the Israelites. And that's why we're teaching you the fear of the Lord and compelling you so that you return before it's too late. All right? Because women, you women, you Israelite women, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian women, your only help, refuge in these last days is an elect man of the Lord. It's either you humble down or you're going to, they're going to lay you down, man. All right? And you're going to go through the 4 sword judgments. You will get microchipped and get burnt up if you are not one of the elect. All right? Remember, this is the Lord's movie. He's in control of everything. So you need to humble yourselves down. Otherwise, be deleted. Shalom.